You are currently listening to a holiday best of the Dr. Dahlia Show. Please stay tuned, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a fantastic New Year.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Dahlia Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dahlia, 1-877-DOCDALI. So one of our listeners wants me to advise you guys on what is the best over-the-counter medication for cough and cold. What do I like to use the most? And this is good. I have no sponsors, in that realm. So, you're going to get the honest answer from me on this. And I don't think anybody should, if they do have a sponsor, give a dishonest answer. I tell you what my go-to is. It's the hot shower. I know that doesn't sound really good, to a lot of, but I've used the Robitessins and the Mucinexes, and yes, they do. I have used them. I've used Sudafed. I've used Dayquil, NyQuil. And they work, but the best thing that works for me is jumping in the hot shower. Now, when I'm sick, I take maybe 6 of those hot showers. Then my husband's like, oh, come on, man. Our water bill's going to be ridiculous. I live in Southern Nevada. Our water bills are just generally, the prices we spend on water is just absolutely ridiculous. But I got to tell you, when I can't sleep at night and I'm coughing, I get up, I take a hot shower. It stops the cough and I'm able to go back to sleep. When I feel congested and I have to go on air, I just, I know it doesn't sound the most exciting. It's just, it works for me. Now, I've also been asked multiple times by patients how they could get a doctor to write the Phenergan with codeine, or the previous remember there was that grape flavored Pan Cough PD. And these cough medications that had narcotics in them, they're still around, from what I understand. I haven't written them in years because the company I work for, you don't write narcotics because you can't write them over the phone, over the telephone. And so many individuals are like, look, I'm using all this stuff over the counter. Nothing is working. Now, why are they saying nothing is working? Well, because then they used to take those medications. It would help them sleep. If they slept, they felt better. Their immune system could build up. If they weren't coughing all night, they weren't irritating their lung linings. And so it was it was something that doctors used for a long time until we had such an issue as it pertained to narcotic overuse, that then we ended up, having to say, no, sorry, guys, we can't write these. Now, like I said, there are still doctors that will write those medications for your cough. It's not ideal, and it's not anything that we recommend. But I see where patients are coming from when they're like, look, I would go to sleep and I wouldn't be coughing and coughing, because right now what you're getting is, if you're having, let's say, a bronchitis, and most bronchitises are viral, and the doctor's not going to give you a Z-Pak for bronchitis. They'll give you something for your cough. They'll tell you to use Mucinex, or they'll tell you to use, or the COVID. Yeah, like if you have COVID, we're not supposed to treat COVID with the Z-Pak. I know some of you claim the Z-Pak made you feel better, and I get that, because I feel better with Z-Paks too. But technically, we're not supposed to treat COVID with a Z-Pak. Z-Paks need to be saved for those people who need it, that have community-acquired pneumonia or are penicillin allergic and have strep. So we need the Z-Paks for patients that don't have a virus. And so for the cough, you're given Tessalon Pearls or benzocatate, which is a prescriptive strength cough medicine. For some people, it works amazing. For others, no. Not. Then some of you are getting steroids. Some of you are getting inhalers. And I'm noticing, and this is what you're noticing, that sometimes you're given 3 or 4 medications when you feel like in the past you just needed 1 teaspoon. Now, keep in mind, how long ago was it when you got that 1 teaspoon? 2012? Remember, you were a little younger back then, so you could bounce back a little bit more. So, my go-to, just, tea, honey, chicken soup. The Jews know what they were doing when they came up with chicken soup for the cold. There's anti-inflammatories, there's the warmth, the fluid, it's just the vegetables. I think chicken soup is, one of the best treatments. But I also remember when I was younger, the reason why we had cough syrups with alcohol or codeine is because that replaced alcohol. I remember my mom saying she won't stop coughing, and my grandmother said, give her some schnapps, give her some schnapps. And my mom's like, I don't have schnapps. My mom didn't have a lot of alcohol in the house. And she's like, I'll bring some over. I'm like, go grandma. And I'm 6 years old going, whew, I'm going to get some schnapps. I got to tell you, it knocked me out. Now, we don't do that because alcohol actually messes with your sleep. And it can mess with your cough reflex. And alcohol is not good for cough. Unfortunately, people who are not accessing a medical provider or a regular medical provider, they're just doing what works for them. And sadly, they're drinking. Or they're using old pain pills to stop their cough. So we talk about cough a lot on the show because unfortunately people, get coughs. And I think there's a lot of things you could do that are natural. That, as I said, humidifier, steam, honey, tea with honey can really help. We could also use, natural remedies like peppermint, thyme, eucalyptus, licorice, ginger can also provide relief, even chocolate. So chocolate has theobromine. Now, theobromine can suppress a cough, and there was a study back about 10 years ago that said it works better than codeine. Chocolate. And I noticed I'll take some chocolate and it'll go down. The only problem is you really don't want the sugar and you don't want to feed illnesses with sugar. But also if you're having a cough and it's not COVID or bacteria related or whatever, it could also be your medication. It could be acid reflux. It could be mold in your house. It could be a heart condition. It could be a lung condition. It could be that you vape a lot. So get that checked out. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me join you to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you think you deserve compensation, call now to find out how much you qualify for. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator.
Stiction, that sticky friction, undermines the performance of diesel engines. Third-party ASTM testing verifies that Stiction Eliminator removes 2 times as much stiction than any alternative on the retail shelf. Stiction Eliminator is formulated to be left in the engine oil. It works as you drive.
Available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com. helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Crime across the country is at an all-time high. It feels like even a family road trip is taking a risk. We don't want the feeling of being unprotected and vulnerable. We found GetCCL.com. GetCCL.com gave us the help we needed to apply for a legal concealed carry permit that's recognized in over half of the country. GetCCL.com simplifies the process to apply, and it's all online. We used their free qualification process to answer a few questions and applied for our permit right from home. Thanks to reciprocity laws between states, when you're issued a New Hampshire concealed carry permit, you can legally carry in any state that recognizes your New Hampshire permit. It only takes minutes to apply, so don't wait. Exercise your rights today. Ensure you're protecting your family at home and in other states. Have peace of mind. Apply today. Go to GetCCL.com. That's GetCCL.com. Go to GetCCL.com. Exercise your rights today. Go to GetCCL.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Lisa Wolf here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you. And be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Did you know that more than half our household energy costs go to heating and cooling? Energy efficiency isn't just good for the environment. It means lower utility bills, too. One way to reduce your energy waste is a home energy assessment. Your utility company can help, or you can learn how to do it yourself at EnergySavers.gov. That's EnergySavers.gov. You'll learn to look for air leaks around windows and doors, check ducts for holes, and improve your insulation. Another time to cut energy costs is when you shop for a new appliance. Look for the Energy Star logo and read the Energy Guide label. And there are day-to-day things you can do. Lower your thermostat in winter and raise it in the summer. Close fireplace dampers when they're not in use. And keep air filters clean. For more tips on saving money by reducing your energy waste, check out ftc.gov/green. A tip from the Federal Trade Commission, the nation's consumer protection agency.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer. And big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, The Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. So Randy Moss opened up about his current health struggles. The NFL icon, Hall of Famer, wide receiver, played for the Vikings and multiple other teams in his career. Current ESPN sportscaster and a sports host, had to leave kind of abruptly about a week or two ago when fans noticed he had yellowing of the eyes. If you remember, the family spoke out a little upset that people were already diagnosing him and speaking out over the phone that he had liver cancer. He didn't have liver cancer. He had something a little different than that. But they had wanted privacy. And then Randy Moss, on his own time when he was out of the hospital, and I think he live streamed on Instagram the day he was discharged, assuring his fans that he's okay. Really cool. I'm a big Randy Moss fan. And he explained to everybody what was going on. And he told his fans that he's a cancer survivor. He Instagram lived a story. And, this is something that I really, really find admirable, where somebody is dealing with a medical issue or an assassination attempt, and they stop everything to assure their fans that they're okay. That is so unselfish. Randy Moss didn't have to do that. President Trump didn't have to do that, but they're like, look, I'm okay. I'm okay. And it's so reassuring because people were really scared. And I think Randy Moss identified that all the chatter on social media was probably because people were really freaking out about what happened. And he does have something pretty serious. He has cholangiocarcinoma. So it's a tumor in the bile duct. Now, I lost my mother-in-law to this. This can be very deadly, if not caught early. And he underwent a procedure called a Whipple, which I'll explain in a little bit. And so he explained that he was in the hospital for 6 days. He got out the day he live streamed, assured fans he was doing all right. He praised his doctors, saying they were the best Charlotte had to offer and the best around the country. He also commended the CAMC 11th Tower, naming all his providers and nurses, smiling and joking about Drill Sergeant Elizabeth, who I think was chief nurse. And, for him to be able to be so jovial and joking about it, and he listed every single person, and maybe he didn't even get to all of them, but for him to go through that effort, wow. If I had undergone a Whipple procedure, I would be like, look, I'm on drugs right now. I'll talk to you later. But he went through this whole video stream that lasted, I think, about 15 minutes. He also wanted to thank the prayer warriors for their prayers. He said he felt them all. Very, very cool. So basically, this began on Thanksgiving. He had a stent put in. He said he had a stent put into his liver. So basically, my guess is he had an issue with his bile duct. And maybe he had issues with gallstones or him not passing bile. And so they put a stent, which they've done with coronary arteries and other things to kind of help keep the duct or the tube open. The doctors found a mass sitting outside the bile duct between the pancreas and his liver. That could explain why the bile duct was closing and wasn't staying open. He praised his doctor, Dr. Martini. He performed a 6-hour operation, including the Whipple procedure. So the Whipple procedure is a pancreatico-duodenectomy. What that means is they remove part of the pancreas, part of the bile duct, part of the gallbladder, part of the small intestine to excise the tumor. Now, he's not done. After this, he's going to have to undergo chemotherapy and radiation. And cholangiocarcinoma or bile duct cancer can be aggressive. Sometimes the only warning sign is you look yellow. I thought something was wrong with my mother-in-law when she said I'm not diabetic anymore. I was like, how you doing? And she's like, I don't need insulin. And I'm like, really? She's like, I am off my diabetes. I don't have diabetes anymore. I'm cured. And I told my husband that could be cancer. And then within a week or two, she was diagnosed with cancer. Now, I'm not saying if you guys lose weight and you eat well and you're able to cure yourself for diabetes, it's cancer. But if you haven't been doing anything different and all of a sudden you're not diabetic anymore, that could be a sign of cancer. So that was my mother-in-law's first sign. It wasn't the jaundice. It was that she wasn't diabetic anymore and didn't need the insulin. Other signs of cholangiocarcinoma could be abdominal pain. Your stool could look pale and yellow, itching, pruritus, dark urine, fatigue, weight loss, and loss of appetite. And so, Randy Moss looked like he had great energy. I watch a lot of sports, so I see them do their work, and it's, I kind of like it when you have prior Hall of Famers and prior athletes, star athletes. I'm a big fan of Tom Brady. I'm glad. I know people are, giving him crap for, doing that and making money and taking the job away from somebody else who could use the millions of dollars. But I like hearing him, it's like the backstage of what's going on with sports. But Randy Moss, with the yellowing of the eyes, was a concern. Now, you got to be careful. Some of you have been looking online. His eyes were not as yellow as some of the pictures are. You see some people have photoshopped that in, but he did have a different look to his eyes. And according to the American Cancer Society, 8,000 Americans are diagnosed with bile duct cancer each year. That's a lot. And I bet the number's even higher. Now, Randy Moss also took this time to educate his listeners, saying you need to check your ego at the door and you need to get yourselves checked out and screened for cancer. And, a lot of people do not like to go and get checked out. I can't tell you how many of my family members say, you know what, I'd rather have the cancer. And I'm like, really? Do you really? Is it really that bad to go in and get a colonoscopy or to get a mammogram? You'd really rather have cancer? You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, my father refused to take cholesterol medication. It's going to hurt my liver. Because he had a, big, thick accent. Don't hurt, leave me alone. And I'm like, well, you're worried about your liver. You'll have the most beautiful liver in the graveyard. Get yourself, and he ended up dying of a heart attack. Now, do these statins hurt the liver? For some people, they can. But for most people, they're fairly safe. I recommend starting at a low dose. Talk to your cardiologist. It all depends on your cholesterol levels. But being that heart disease is still the number one killer, and cholesterol and your lipids is a big part of that. I know everyone's like, well, I need to protect my liver. Some people have even said, I don't want what happened to Randy Moss happen to me. Well, we aren't finding studies that are saying that these cholesterol statin medications are causing bile duct cancer. So I would not fear that. I would talk to your medical provider. But if you're at higher risk of heart disease, we need to lower your lipids. That's just a given. And so if you really want to protect your liver, cut back on drinking. Yeah. You really want to protect your liver, cut back on drinking. Well, you're not going to convince me you're really pro-health if you're drinking and not taking your cholesterol medication to protect your heart because of the liver. So avoid alcohol. I think a lot of Tylenol could hurt the liver as well. NSAIDs, your ibuprofen, naproxen, these are things that could also hurt the liver. People say, well, I want to protect the liver, so I'm going to avoid Tylenol and I'll take the ibuprofen instead. That could also affect the liver. Eating a lot of food additives and crap, drugs, and not getting yourself checked out. But high fatty foods can also affect the liver. You could get something called fatty liver, either from alcohol or from fatty foods or your diet. Your gallbladder can't keep up because your gallbladder stores the bile, and it might not be able to shoot and squirt out the bile to manage your fats and digest them all. So I really like to protect the liver. A lot of you are taking oral antifungal medications for toenail fungus. Make sure somebody's checking your liver because those medications could affect the liver as well. So Randy Moss is using his health challenge to help others. And he's asking his supporters to support his cause. He's raising funds to support cancer research. And he says, let's Moss cancer. So hashtag let's Moss cancer, you'll see. Hashtag we got Moss. Hashtag Team Moss. Those are hashtags because he's raising money. Purple is the color used for pancreatic cancer awareness. And cholangiocarcinoma will, including the bile duct, can involve the pancreas. And so he's using the color purple. And he says go to randymoss.com for more information. Let's Moss cancer. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Don't go away.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Did you know that more than half our household energy costs go to heating and cooling? Energy efficiency isn't just good for the environment. It means lower utility bills, too. One way to reduce your energy waste is a home energy assessment. Your utility company can help, or you can learn how to do it yourself at EnergySavers.gov. That's EnergySavers.gov. You'll learn to look for air leaks around windows and doors, check ducts for holes, and improve your insulation. Another time to cut energy costs is when you shop for a new appliance. Look for the Energy Star logo and read the Energy Guide label. And there are day-to-day things you can do. Lower your thermostat in winter and raise it in the summer. Close fireplace dampers when they're not in use. And keep air filters clean. For more tips on saving money by reducing your energy waste, check out ftc.gov/green. A tip from the Federal Trade Commission, the nation's consumer protection agency.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy!
What's your name?
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
That's right, free. The smartest way to hire. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So a key vaccine panel for the CDC has voted to change the hepatitis B vaccine dosing. This is something that has been controversial, safe but controversial, as newborns, when they are 1 day old in the hospital, are getting the first of their hepatitis B vaccine series. The hepatitis B vaccine protects them against hepatitis B. It could be a very deadly, long, debilitating disease of the liver. And hepatitis B, we have been able to protect people against with the vaccine. However, parents are concerned because it's a 3-dose series given at 1 day old, then at 1 to 2 months, and then at 6 months to 12 months or 6 months. But it's a 3-part series. And many parents have been kind of concerned that the first shot is given when the baby is only 1 day old. Many doctors have also shown concern, but the majority of studies have shown that it's safe. These newborns do well. They get the vaccine, and that vaccine series is already started, 1 down, and then 100 to go. So the vote came today after the panel heard presentations from multiple individuals, some of whom are skeptical about that vaccine guidance. And this guidance, the hepatitis B vaccine has been around since the early 90s. And we have been giving newborns the first shot. But why this is being revisited now is with the rise in pediatric obesity, rise in chronic health issues of the pediatric population, rise in autism and neurodevelopmental disorders. You have RFK Jr. and other individuals saying, look, what are we doing differently since the 90s, the 80s, 90s, 2000s that we didn't do in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? And let's make sure it's the safest thing. So you have some individuals say, look, I'm fine with the hepatitis B vaccine. Just let's give it to the baby when they're a little older. You have others saying, why would you mess with it? It's not the vaccine. The vaccine's not causing these issues. So there's a split. Well, I do feel that the hepatitis B vaccine, hepatitis B chronicity, as well as incidence in the pediatric population has drastically dropped since vaccination. But I also understand when parents say, can we just wait, see a few more studies, and, can I wait till the child's a month old or 2 months old or 3 months old? When parents say, I want to wait till my child is having sex because hepatitis B is contracted through sexual activity, I have to remind them that I thought that originally too, where, the average kid isn't doing sex and drugs. However, you could get hepatitis B from mom if she has hepatitis B. You could get hepatitis B from dad. You could get hepatitis B from another family member who has it if you're exposed. When my son was bit by another child and that child broke the skin when he bit him, if that child had hepatitis B, he could have given my child hepatitis B. So these kids could get it from bloodborne pathogen communicable disease exposure. And then you do want these children protected, as early as possible. So the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, or the ACIP, recommended that if an infant's mother tests negative for hepatitis B, patients should consult a doctor about whether the baby needs an early vaccine dose. ACIP also suggested that infants who skip the birth dose shouldn't receive their first dose until they are at least 2 months of age. Now, this is something that a lot of doctors have kind of been, shall we say, supportive of, because a lot of the vaccines we give start at 2 months old. And so can the hepatitis B wait until they're 2 months old, have at least 8 weeks of post-fetal immunity? Some doctors say, well, no, because now that's an additional shot. These parents are going to freak out because there's so many shots these kids are getting at the 2 month old, but they're kind of already getting their second hepatitis B vaccine at that 2 month old time anyway. So the ACIP is not saying to cancel the hepatitis B vaccine. They're saying we may not have to do it when the child is 24 hours old. So proponents of this argue that we just don't know enough about the potential risks and that most babies aren't likely to contract the virus. One panel member, Dr. Evelyn Griffin, said that the vaccine could lead to autoimmune conditions. Now, do we have a lot of studies showing that? I don't believe we do. But there are side effects that can come with these vaccines. And so when a parent asks me, do I have to do it at 1 day old? Or can't I do it when they get their other vaccines? Even though the data says it's safe, do we know 100%? And moms and dads want to know 100%. I don't blame them, for wanting to. So the Wall Street Journal reports on this, and I honestly, I will support whatever the CDC and the ACIP suggest. They're not saying to cancel the vaccine. I believe that vaccine is extremely important. I'm really excited we have a hepatitis B vaccine. I think it is saving lives. I have seen what hepatitis B does to individuals. It is some scary stuff. In fact, all pregnant moms are screened for hepatitis B, so that we can, and so that we can be prepared in case baby gets it from mom. HIV can be passed from baby to mom. I mean, we have some really, really bad diseases out there and bad viruses that can cause bad diseases. And so having the vaccine is a blessing. But do we have to give the vaccine when the child is only 24 hours old? And do we allow the parents to have a choice? I don't think there's anything wrong in that. Public health experts, though, are warning that if you delay the vaccine, or only immunize the babies of infected women, that it's, these babies will be at risk. According to Wall Street Journal, they say they know that because the hepatitis B test is typically done in the first trimester, women could still become infected later in the pregnancy. Some might not get tested at all. They also say that beyond maternal transmission, the virus is often spread through shared surfaces like washcloths and toothbrushes. Very interestingly, hepatitis C, which we don't vaccinate against, hepatitis C you could get from a nail salon. This is why nail salons are autoclaving their instruments. And hepatitis C can live on surfaces for months. So, I used to bring my own I really trust where I go, but I used to bring my own autoclaved instruments, because I didn't want anybody using somebody else's instruments on me. But hepatitis B can also live on surfaces. And so most of us have been vaccinated. I was vaccinated for hepatitis B in medical school. But in terms of kids, they're getting their series. It's just, do they need to get it at 24 hours old, or can they wait till at least they're 2 months? Now, Denmark, I believe, does not recommend the hepatitis B vaccine for all newborns. There's I believe Dr. Tracy Beth Hogue suggested that the hepatitis B vaccines not be given to children. I really do like the idea of kids getting the series, but I would like to see more data. I want to ensure that these kids are safe, and I want to ensure that the number of vaccines we're giving a child is not interfering with other vaccines, inducing immunity, and ensuring that it's not causing side effects. The more we learn about infectious disease, the more we want to come up with a vaccine. Malaria vaccine, HIV vaccine, hepatitis C vaccines. There's a lot of things, we want to, have and protect our most vulnerable population from. But parents are starting to go, there's another one. We have another one. And it's not just one. We have to have multiple. We got to do 2 chickenpox vaccines, 2 MMR, and that might not be enough. Pertussis boosters. And so some parents want to spread it out. Sometimes the spreading out, that'll satisfy those parents, where you're spreading it out to day one. For a lot of other people, they're skeptical. And so giving them the option, because right now, parents are telling me when they say, no, thank you, I'd like to pass, don't give my newborn the vaccine, I'll do it later. Some of them are getting, some stink eye and some pushback. So as far as I'm concerned, do the research, make sure what we're doing is safe. If it is safe, great. If there's questions, let's investigate that first. And let parents have a choice. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOCDALI.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-910-7500. That's 800-910-7500. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions: Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
Crime across the country is at an all-time high. It feels like even a family road trip is taking a risk. We don't want the feeling of being unprotected and vulnerable. We found GetCCL.com. GetCCL.com gave us the help we needed to apply for a legal concealed carry permit that's recognized in over half of the country. GetCCL.com simplifies the process to apply, and it's all online. We used their free qualification process to answer a few questions and applied for our permit right from home. Thanks to reciprocity laws between states, when you're issued a New Hampshire concealed carry permit, you can legally carry in any state that recognizes your New Hampshire permit. It only takes minutes to apply, so don't wait. Exercise your rights today. Ensure you're protecting your family at home and in other states. Have peace of mind. Apply today. Go to GetCCL.com. That's GetCCL.com. Go to GetCCL.com. Exercise your rights today. Go to GetCCL.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Lisa Wolf here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you. And be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Did you know that more than half our household energy costs go to heating and cooling? Energy efficiency isn't just good for the environment. It means lower utility bills, too. One way to reduce your energy waste is a home energy assessment. Your utility company can help, or you can learn how to do it yourself at EnergySavers.gov. That's EnergySavers.gov. You'll learn to look for air leaks around windows and doors, check ducts for holes, and improve your insulation. Another time to cut energy costs is when you shop for a new appliance. Look for the Energy Star logo and read the Energy Guide label. And there are day-to-day things you can do. Lower your thermostat in winter and raise it in the summer. Close fireplace dampers when they're not in use. And keep air filters clean. For more tips on saving money by reducing your energy waste, check out ftc.gov/green. A tip from the Federal Trade Commission, the nation's consumer protection agency.
Right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, 1-877-DOCDALI. So everybody relax. You are going to be seeing headlines saying that not all breast cancer has to be treated. Now, I almost pooped in my pants when I heard that a headline like that was going around. And let me kind of explain why. Because I know what's going to follow. People are going to say, oh, well, now I don't need a mammogram. That happened after the prostate cancer debacle. Most prostate cancer doesn't have to be treated, they said. You will die of something else. The cancer will outlive you. And then people weren't going in and getting their prostates evaluated. And we had some pretty aggressive prostate cancers pop up in individuals who never, who said, well, I thought we didn't have to get screened. So I always kind of get nervous when you see things like this. But let me explain what they're talking about. So there's a study published in JAMA where they looked at a type of breast cancer. Now, not all breast cancers are the same, but they looked at ductal carcinoma in situ, which is a cancer that is not aggressively invasive in all cases. Oftentimes it stays in situ, or in its place. We don't like invasive. And it's one of the reasons why now breast cancer, as opposed to being stage 1, 2, 3, 4 onward, there's a stage 0. Still breast cancer, but doesn't most cases invade. 20% of breast cancers diagnosed in the U.S. are of this type. And not all of them go on to become significant cancer. However, some can. So as a result, up until now, and still for the near future, we aren't going to screw around. We will remove it. We may, by surgery, we may radiate the area, and depending on your hormonal propensities and vulnerability, we might use hormone therapy drugs, blocking estrogen if it's estrogen sensitive. Well, a study published in JAMA said you don't necessarily have to treat all of these. And that some of these women who have stage 0 breast cancer could opt for just monitoring. Mammograms, monitoring of their lesions. And when they looked at those individuals who chose that path, many of them, not all, many of them were not more likely to develop cancer over 2 years. Now, some of you will say, okay, why are they even going here? You know, this is a mess. 1 in 8 women get breast cancer. Hundreds of thousands of women get breast cancer a year in this country. What are we doing? Well, remember, in science, we are supportive of evolving science. And yes, they are going to look at, are some cancers so slow growing that you could minimize a person's trauma, minimize a person's cost, minimize a person's treatment plan, panic, if we've identified that it's a very slow growing cancer. And with what we've done with prostate cancer, we've realized that not every man has to have a prostatectomy. Some of the slow-growing, less aggressive cancers might not necessarily need that aggressive approach. That's okay. I support that. What I don't support is this idea of, you know what, if the majority of women did fine, you're going to be fine. That I don't like. Okay. One thing I've learned is, especially in my particular case, I never fall with the majority. If there's going to be a complication, I'm going to get it. And we also saw that with black individuals as it pertained to colon cancer and prostate cancer. And I said for years, why are we waiting till age 50? Black men, African-American men could have a much more aggressive cancer. We need to be screening them sooner. Heart disease, high blood pressure, nephropathy, issues with kidneys. And now they're like, okay, you know what? We do need to look a little differently. So we have to be really, really careful. Now, having a very early stage cancer, well, these individuals still need to be watched. And they still need to be very closely monitored. But they're saying after 2 years, 5.9% of the women in the first group had developed cancer, 4.2% of those in the second group. So comparing 5.9 to 4.2, not much of a difference. They said women in the study were either assigned to receive surgery and radiation or receive the frequent mammograms and monitoring. So 5.9% of the people who did a conservative therapy went on to develop cancer. 4.2% in the second group did. So we're still having individuals still get cancer. It's not as much as people thought. They said 44% of women assigned to receive surgery ultimately decided not to have the operation. And 14% of those assigned to receive active monitoring decide to change their mind and remove their lesions. So they looked at some very interesting data. And there was a case for Laura Coletti, a 69-year-old North Carolina resident who was diagnosed with ductal carcinoma in situ in 2014 after an annual mammogram. Her husband was a PA, a physician assistant, did extensive research online, and learned that it's a stage 0 cancer was aggressive treatment necessary? So they made an appointment with Dr. Huang, who was behind the study, and they decided to watch her. She was ineligible to join a trial, but she essentially received the same protocol as those assigned to active monitoring. And they were excited. Here, now they are 10 years later, and she's fine. She goes every year for a mammogram just like anyone else, and it's working well. So here's my problem with it. And again, I'm happy they did the study. I think, yes, we might not have to be jumping to surgery and radiation all the time. But the problem I have is cancer is chaotic. Look at what happened with Olivia Newton-John. She thought her cancer was in remission, only for it to show up in her back. Cancer is sneaky. And what if we're not 1,000% correct about it being in situ? What if it invaded? Now, there are signs. There's markers. There's lymph nodes you can monitor, so we can monitor. But I don't want to be in that 5.9%. I don't want any of my patients being in that 5.9%. Now, for some individuals, like you saw, 14% of the group said, you know what, I don't want to active monitor, just get it out of me. A lot of individuals are like, cut the cancer out. I don't want it there. But you have other individuals who are like, if I don't have to go through that pain and that inflammation, what if leaving it alone doesn't mess with it? And it is a school of thought where the more you mess with something, will that enhance spread? So I don't mind that we're studying it, but we need to be very, very careful with how we're wording this, because I don't want people saying, well, there's cancer that doesn't spread. Why am I doing my mammograms? And boy, have people stopped doing mammograms. Since COVID, since they're not going for regular pap smears, since we changed the guidelines for pap smears where you go every 3 to 5 years, people aren't being reminded to get their mammograms. I mean, my doctor was on me like, glitter on glue. And she was like, did you do your mammogram? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, before the pap smear event, before I got a hello, good morning. I mean, it was, and now that people aren't going to the doctor, who's on them about getting their screenings? So patients are calling into telemedicine companies going, I want hormone replacement therapy. I go, when was your last mammogram? Oh, 10 years ago. So I just don't want that lackadaisical attitude about cancer. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.